Okay, ski moms, some of us are still skiing, but this is also that sweet spot where the deals get really good. Ski House is heading into the final stretch of the season, which means it's the best time to shop. Think next year's gear and growing kids, and maybe something for you too. Mom deserves a treat. Quick reminder, if you did a seasonal lease and you're done for the year, don't forget to get that gear turned back in. And just a heads up, the store hours are changing due to store inventory going on. So check before you head over. But truly, this is one of the easiest, smartest times to shop. And the Ski House team always makes it feel approachable, helpful, and enjoyable. They've got locations in Woburn and Framingham, Mass, and tax-free Salem, New Hampshire. Head to skihouse.com, that's SKIHAUS.com, to check store hours and directions.
Welcome back to the Ski Moms Podcast. It's season 5 and we're hitting the slopes. We're sharing real, unfiltered stories of motherhood on the snow. From conquering the bunny hill with toddlers to squeezing in your own powder days, this season celebrates every type of ski mom. Thanks for joining us. We've got a great season lined up, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. A lot of us ski moms hang up our gear and equipment in mid-March, or maybe even as early as the President's Day weekend, which is sort of mid to late February here in the States. But the secret is skiing gets really good after the official start of spring. It's warmer, the snow is soft, and it's also a celebration of longer days and the season's changing. And nobody does it better than Sunshine Village. So Kendra's going to tell us about that.
It's a very snowy day, and it was a little bit longer to get my son to school.
I love that snow is holding you up. On the Ski Moms podcast, that is 100% approved and on brand. We are so excited that you all are getting snow, first of all, because I know out west, a lot of us are under the impression that the entire West has been just suffering from drought. So Banff is not, you guys have got the goods coming down right now?
We have the goods. This week, we've seen 67 centimeters of that famous Banff fruit pow land on our Rocky Mountain slopes. And we have over, I think now close to like 380 inches of snow season to date. It has been a consistent, nonstop snowy season. And we are very grateful for that.
Well, I'll give you a chance to get your coat off, and I'm going to update the listeners as to where we are. We had Kendra on the podcast to talk about Sunshine Village, the Banff experience, and a little bit of her background and her introduction to the industry and career path. She's an author, she's a mom, and she's also a professional within the ski industry. The Banff podcast was wildly popular, and we are really happy to bring her back. But this time we're specifically talking about spring skiing. And so welcome back, Kendra.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you for that warm intro. And I would echo that. At Sunshine, we say we have 2 seasons. We have winter, and then we have spring season. And spring is when we come to life. It is the start of longer days, fun, après, big bluebird skies, lots of sunshine, and then surprise powder days. We tend to get our snowiest months typically are actually March and April. So you can still get really good pow when other resorts are perhaps packing it in for the season.
And we've talked about a little bit about getting there, but let's bring the listener up to speed, maybe if they didn't listen to that episode yet. So we're going to fly into Calgary, I believe, and then we're going to drive to Banff?
Yes. So if you are wanting to come to Sunshine for some spring skiing, and we are open until May 18th this year, we are always open until the holiday Monday in Canada, which is the Victoria Day long weekend. And if you want to get to us, the easiest way is to book a flight to Calgary's International Airport. And from there, you can either rent a car or hop on the Banff Airporter or other car service. Ubers are not in Banff, so I would not recommend taking an Uber because you'll have a hard time getting back to Calgary. But yes, flying into Calgary and then taking that drive from the Calgary airport to Banff, it's only 90 miles, so about an hour and a half.
And then we've got options for families. Some families like to stay in Banff. There's beautiful walks there, there's shopping, there's restaurants, and that's a great adventure for families. I do love that. But I'm here to say I've stayed at the Mid-Mountain Lodging. It is so special, and I would like to make a plug for that. Can you tell us how would we get there, and why is it worth kind of that extra effort to stay on mountain?
At Sunshine, we are located in the national park, so it is truly a dark sky experience. And at the top of our village, which we sometimes call an island in the sky, we are a gondola accessible ski village. So you take the gondola from our parking lot. Our parking lot is about a mile high, and then you ride that to about 7,200 feet above sea level to really the base of our upper mountain. We have two middle bases. We've got our goat's eye, which is halfway up the gondola, and then our village. And in our village, we have the Sunshine Mountain Lodge. And the Sunshine Mountain Lodge is an 84-room boutique hotel that is really nestled in the heart of the Canadian Rockies. It is on a private ski island in a lot of ways. You can't access it by driving. You need to take that gondola up. And when the lifts close, it's just you and the mountains. So I personally love hearing the groomers work at nighttime and falling asleep to that, waking up to check out the Milky Way or to see the Northern Lights. And then when you're actually waking up for first chair, it's really relaxed. You kind of wake up to the sound of the lifties doing their lift inspections, and you get yourself ready, have a nice coffee at the Java lift, and you're there while people are perhaps doing other things and having a much less relaxing start to your morning. The Sunshine Mountain Lodge is a game changer, and it is the only ski in, ski out hotel in a Canadian national park. So it also makes it pretty special on that end.
So we've booked our plane tickets. We've got our lodging taken care of. Let's back up a little bit and talk about the great debate of winter skiing versus spring skiing. I know Sarah wishes she could be here because she would definitely vote for spring. Where do you fall on this divide?
Oh, I'm all for spring.
And tell us, like, what a typical spring day looks like. So maybe we're taking the gondola up to Goat's Eye, or maybe we're just waking up at Sunshine Village.
Spring is kind of magical. And what I love about spring in the Canadian Rockies is every day is different. So you have complete unicorn days, and I call a unicorn day one of those days where you get a surprise 10 centimeters. I think it's like 4 inches overnight. And you wake up to perfect blue sky. Maybe it's like 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and everyone is just having a time wearing whatever floats their boat, because in spring there are no rules to what you wear. You can dress however you want. I love seeing people in costumes. So we'll see people dressed as flamingos, bananas. We'll see the retro ski suits and some of the more modern ski suits on the slopes. I love seeing the zinc that people are wearing. And then it's that great hard skiing in the morning. Maybe it's some fresh pow turns or some really nice groomers where you can carve into that snow and really feel the edges of your skis come to life. Then it's lunch on a patio, obviously, because that's what spring is about. You grab your apple spritz and drink your glass of brut by a fireplace on a lounge sofa or chaise lounge at one of our new decks. And then you kind of listen to music. Maybe you dance a bit in your ski boots because that's what spring skiing's about. And you do a couple more runs.
If you're anything like us, getting outside with your kids isn't just a winter thing. It's how we do every season. And spring in Ulster County, New York is full of those easy memory-making days. Start with Earth Fest at the Ashokan Center on April 19th. A pay-what-you-can afternoon of music, nature walks, and hands-on activities that let kids explore and learn without even realizing it. Then on May 17th, head to Kingston Point Beach for the Hudson Valley Kite Festival. It's free, low-key, and perfect for letting kids run wild while you soak in a sky full of color. And to wrap up the month, the Hudson Valley Fairy Festival on May 30th brings a little magic. Think wings, storytelling, and a joyful fairy parade. For more ways to get outside together this spring, head to visitulstercountyny.com and start planning your spring getaway.
I love it. And let's talk a little bit about snow. People often worry about snow conditions late in the season. We kind of opened the episode talking about the fresh snow that was there, and you were telling us that you are still getting fresh snow events in March and April. Is that very specific to Banff? And when we think about spring skiing, do we need to be careful about picking a resort that maybe is a little higher up?
I think for us, because we are so high up and we are well above the 53rd, well, I think we are on the 53rd latitude, so the 53rd parallel. When you're that far north and then we are the highest elevated ski resort in Canada, we're kind of in this unique bubble where winter stays longer. So we get the benefits of the longer days, the extended lift hours, but we get that true prime winter ski conditions at Sunshine in spring for March and April. And then sometimes it's more of that American style spring skiing in May, but we can still have pretty true winter conditions. There are, of course, days where the snow will be different, but it's still solid winter snow and skiing in the Canadian Rockies.
So we've got families that have different abilities within maybe we've got somebody who's just getting up and running on lifts and they've moved from the magic carpet to a lift, or we've got somebody who's they've had some good lessons and they're moving into those more intermediate trails, getting a little bit steeper, or maybe they're ready to take on some moguls. Is spring a good time to advance skills and to progress the things that you've learned during the winter?
100%. I think in my former life as a competitive snowboarder, spring was when I would really push myself and practice new things. I find spring just naturally is a great time to elevate your skiing because one, it's warmer. So you don't have to work as hard to keep your body warm and your muscles relaxed and loose. You're naturally more in a state of flow just because of the temperatures and because you're more relaxed having fun with friends that you skied with all season. Plus, the snow is typically softer, so you're able to push yourself a little bit harder without consequences, making it really great opportunity to edge in and maybe work through those bumps a little bit better or try a bit of more speed or try new things in the terrain park. The consequences are lower, so the moguls are more forgiving. Everything on the mountain is more forgiving. And then you've also had the benefit of a season of practice and skiing, so your legs are already fit for snow.
That's a really good point. I was just thinking about when you do see something steeper and you're in very cold conditions and your body's already working on just keeping you warm
Mhm.
in those maybe situations where you're pushing your skills a little bit more. And I can put myself into that feeling of, okay, I'm a little bit warmer. I'm a little bit more relaxed. And I think that's got to affect our kids as well, that it's just one fewer things that their little bodies have to take on with all of these new skills that they're acquiring. And I definitely hear more laughter, more giggling in the spring with the sunshine out there. So I think you're really onto something.
And I think too, like I watch my son and he has so much fun on the slopes, but he's not necessarily skiing a full day. He's 4 right now. He likes to ski powder. When it's cold out, I don't make him stay out. I'll try to layer him up, but in the spring, he doesn't have to wear as many clothes, so he's not as cumbersome. And he gets to play more in the snow. He wants to be outside all day. I do find, though, that as a mom, in the spring, it's really important that I pack him extra socks and extra mitts because he is going through those much faster and they do get wet because he's playing in the snow.
That's a really good point. That's maybe considering the gear, it should be something that is on our list when we're packing. Maybe we're moving to something that's got a higher waterproof ability, but a lighter item like a shell. And then
Mhm.
we've got some nice layers under there so they can kind of take things on and off appropriately. And the softer snow can make things, especially around your feet and boots a little bit wet. So I love that tip of bringing some extra socks. I would also remind people about hydration because it is
Yes.
different in the spring. So what would you tell us about that?
I think hydration is something that we forget about year round on the mountain. You do need to stay hydrated in the mountain. For every 1,000 foot of elevation, it does mean that you have a higher potential to be dehydrated, and your body does have to work harder to acclimate. And when you're cold, you don't really want to drink. You don't feel that you're sweating to the same degree, but your body is still working really hard. And skiing is a big anaerobic activity. So you're in deep squats, your legs are working, you're holding those squats for prolonged periods of time. And if you don't stay hydrated, your muscles will cramp and you'll have a slower recovery. So when I'm on the mountain, regardless of it being spring or winter, I'm bringing electrolytes with me and I am trying to drink at least 1.5 liters of water a day on the mountain, preferably two. And if I don't get it, I definitely feel it in my body. I feel lethargic. I feel it harder to wake up. But in the spring, that hits triple hard because now you have the sun exposure, and then you have the sun exposure from the rebound bouncing off the snow. Then you have the challenge of properly climate controlling your body. One minute you're too cold, the next minute you're too hot. So your body's in this constant state of fluctuation. And if you don't stay hydrated, you'll be sweating too much, then you'll be too cold, then you'll be sweating too much, then you'll just feel the effects of it and you'll be groggy, you'll have headaches, you'll feel lightheaded, you might get some altitude sickness. So I really encourage people to bring electrolytes with them and to stay hydrated when they're skiing and or snowboarding. And going back to that hydration piece, sometimes when people are on the mountain and they're cold, it's actually because you're dehydrated. So the more hydrated you are, the better your body is able to regulate your internal temperature.
Those are great tips. And with little people, it's even more important because they may not always be aware that they're thirsty. I mean, as grown-ups, we aren't. So making sure that you're taking plenty of breaks to get them maybe a cup of broth or get them, a drink that, might not be cold in the winter. Maybe they're going to want to drink something warmer. I'm all for cocoa. But in the spring, maybe bringing an electrolyte that your kid already likes and is their favorite drink in a powder form is definitely helpful. And on to the note about acclimating to the different elevation and altitude, I'd say, maybe planning a really light day that first day makes
Mhm.
sense. Do you think so?
Definitely. I think, especially if you're coming from sea level, the Canadian Rockies aren't as high as the American Rockies, but it's still a jump going from sea level to 7,000 feet. So be gentle to yourself. Take time to catch up on sleep. When people are coming to Banff for a ski vacation, one of the things I often recommend that they do is that they fly into Calgary, perhaps enjoy their first night in Calgary, go out for dinner, have a good night's sleep there before hitting the mountain. And then once you hit the mountain, maybe start and listen to your body, enjoy a half day, enjoy some easier runs, warm up, start getting your bearings. I recommend hiring a guide or an instructor so you can kind of see what terrain works for you for that first day and then going more on your own.
You did mention sunscreen briefly. It is definitely something that you should pack and make it your brands that the kids already know and love, that they like the smell of it, they like the feel of it. So you're not trying something new. I know all the shops do carry things there. If we do forget, they are available there. But do you have a favorite or any tips about keeping sunscreen on yourself and your son? You have beautiful skin, so we want to
Oh,
make sure it stays nice.
I'm obsessed with sunscreen. I do not want to have sun damage nor get skin cancer. And it can happen on the mountains if you do have that frequent exposure because you are getting the double UV hit. So I always keep a sunscreen in my pocket when I'm out skiing and snowboarding, as well as I apply it first thing in the morning. Supergoop has this clear sunscreen that I really personally like and put it on my son. It's pretty odorless, so he doesn't get too mad when it goes on his face. I don't know if any kid loves having sunscreen put on it, but he doesn't seem to hate it. And then with him, I really try to make sure he has a light balaclava on or a neck warmer on so that he can cover up his skin if he's not reapplying through the day if I'm not with him.
The balaclavas come in so many different thicknesses. So in the winter, we might want a fleece lined one. But I know brands like Turtle Fur and Skeeta, it's more of a buff. So it
Yeah.
doesn't have that lining. And, when you were talking about packing extra socks, like packing extra buffs are fantastic. They're lightweight. Look, they don't take up much space in your bag. And if you can get more of their little faces covered, I agree with you. It's an easy, and many of them have like SPF built into them already.
They do, and as a kid, I used to hate wearing a buff or a neck warmer. They annoyed me so much because they would get wet, and I was never a fan of them. But with my son, I've really enjoyed the ones that fit over his helmet because they can provide extra wind protection for when you're on the lift, but they also create a bit of shading and more shadows on his face. So it does do that double trick of blocking the sun as well as the wind.
We talked a good bit about lessons and learning to ski at Banff and what a great experience it is. And let's touch on that again. There are a lot of different learning products that families can take advantage of. I loved when I was visiting there, seeing the youngest skiers on this tiny little surface lift right off of the childcare. What was that one called again?
So at Sunshine, this is a great trick or hack for any ski moms who are hoping to do some runs for themselves. We do have a daycare, and it is a licensed daycare that welcomes little Sunshiners from 18 months to 6 years old. And they do offer ski lessons for kids 2 and up. So if you have a 2-year-old, you can book a private lesson and they'll take them out to the 1, 2, 3 carpet, and they'll just kind of get them used to sliding around, and then they'll move them up to 3. You can start group lessons. And again, they'll start on that carpet before going up to the bigger carpet before trying the chairlift. And from there, that's just progression is endless. My son started on the 1, 2, 3 carpet, and now I'm following him on black runs and through tight tree runs. It's wild to see how much they can grow and what naturals you can have in the sport if you make it fun.
That is so important. And are there any like beginner terrain areas or parks where the kids can play, or any runs where there's like little things in the woods for them to interact with that you would highlight for families coming to visit?
Of course, for families coming to visit, I would recommend skiing on our lower mountain lifts. So we've got Wolverine and Jackrabbit, which are kid favorites. And skiing with my son this winter, I found new tree runs that he's showing me. He calls them secret trees, and Path to Terabithia and roller coaster and upper roller coaster. And on roller coaster, we've hidden animals. So we've hidden animals that are native to the Canadian Rocky Mountains on the trail. And kids are loving seeing the squirrels, the bears, the wolves, coyotes. We've got a lynx in there, a cougar, and you just kind of ski past them on this very bumpy run that kids love, adults tolerate.
And I want to impress upon everybody the colorful nature of Sunshine. Yes, there's intense blue skies, but there's also things like the colored gondolas. And then there's the intensely beautiful bubble lifts. So is it so colorful by design? Is that, the architecture of the mountain, was it thought to be like this playful experience for families?
Yeah, so when we look at our brand and our positioning, we want skiing and snowboarding to be fun. And our biggest mission is to inspire everyone to have such a good time that they fall in love with the sport of skiing and with the Canadian Rockies. And I think that the world is so serious, and there's so many things that take themselves too seriously. We're not an accounting firm. We're not a law firm. We don't need blacks and silvers in our logo. We want to inspire fun, and we wanted it to be welcoming to all. We also wanted people to feel that it's okay to step out of their comfort zone and to embrace something new to them or to embrace play. As we age, we forget to play a lot of the times, and the bright colors help you get back into that kid frame of mind. So, yeah, everyone has a favorite gondola color. My personal favorite is yellow and I'm ashamed to admit it, but if I see a yellow one coming, I will prefer to get into the yellow cabin. As a professional woman, it's kind of embarrassing. My son loves the red cabins, and we have waited for red cabins before. And then with our chairlifts, our bubble lifts, we did strategically make Angel a yellow bubble to fit our brand color and to also bring that sense of play back onto the mountains. So we wanted something bright, cheerful that would spark the imagination and yeah, just that sense of freedom and playfulness, youthfulness that no matter what age you are, you feel when you're on the mountains.
And talking about play, I want to talk to women specifically. So we've got our kids taken care of with the lessons, they've got the right stuff. Spring is a great time to try some of the bowls that are at Sunshine. They're amazing. Or maybe try some moguls because they're a little bit softer and more inviting. And I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression that there aren't huge verticals here and big challenging runs as well. So I want you to speak to that woman who, is looking to improve her skills and is looking for some of those big ski days, knowing that her kids are well taken care of.
Yeah, so personally, what I love most about Sunshine is that we're kind of a Goldilocks resort. We do have terrain for skiers and snowboarders of every single ability, whether it's our gentle beginner terrain all the way up to our extreme freeride zones, the Wild West and Delirium Dive, which are some of the most challenging terrain that is accessible by lifts in North America. As a skier or snowboarder who's looking to push or elevate your skills, you can start kind of simply on Sandish, where we have some very steep, shorter runs, the garbage chutes, the virgin chutes, and get those moguls and those tight turns working on them in a very kind of systematic method. And you're just practicing getting that break before you elevate it into our extreme freeride zones. Now, to go into them, you do need a backpack with a beacon probe, shovel, and a buddy. And we do encourage basic avalanche knowledge or avalanche knowledge just so that you are aware, because that's really what the mountains are about. It's about being educated, being prepared, and being ready to have a great time. But the mountain is usually in control. And if you are looking for that, through our ski school, we do have dive lessons. And you can book either a private lesson with one of our certified ski pros to go into that lesson, or sometimes there are group lessons available and they will walk you through getting into Delirium Dive and or the West for your first time. I think it is a must if you are up there and you are looking for that adrenaline hit and it's a bucket list item. It's even a must if you're not quite ready to just walk up and see the view, because the view from Delirium Dive is otherworldly. It's equivalent to Alaska heli terrain where you're being dropped off on the crest of a mountain and you are essentially dropping into that. And it's really only a 100-meter hike from the top of the Divide chairlift. And if you are just walking up there, take your photos, plan your line for future time, and make your decision to come back. But if you are planning to ski it, my recommendation is to start with the easiest route down, which would be Delirium proper. You would take the stairs, and I promise the stairs are the scariest part. Once you're down the stairs, it's a steep run, yes, but it's smooth sailing. You've done the hardest part. The hardest part is getting into Delirium because it is so intimidating. And as you go, you'll just be astonished that this is even real or accessible or at a resort. And as the bowl comes kind of to the bottom, you're essentially in these untouched powder fields, and there is always powder to be found. And then if you're looking to really up it, I think the Wild West is more technical than Delirium Dive, but it's also probably the only place where you can ski tight couliers in a resort and have the walls of the Rockies be probably 100-foot high either side of you. It makes you feel like you are in the uncharted American West.
If your child lives for mountain biking and is constantly pushing their limits on two wheels, we've found the summer experience that truly checks every box. Woodward, Pennsylvania's Mountain Bike Summer Camp is redefining what an action sports camp can be, blending epic outdoor adventure, professional level coaching, and a whole lot of fresh air. Kids are developing real skills, learning progression and safety, and building confidence on world-class terrain with coaches who are deeply invested in helping them grow. Woodward's 5 to 7 day camps are designed for riders of all ages and abilities. And because it's Woodward, the experiences go beyond biking. Think community, mentorship, and that special kind of independence kids gain when they're challenged in the best way. Ski moms can save $150 off Woodward summer camps by using code SKIMOMS at checkout. Just head to woodwardpa.com/summer-camps/mountain-bike to learn more. That's code SKIMOMS for $150 off and an unforgettable summer on two wheels.
Those are all really inspiring and aspirational for me adventures. And I think what you were saying about getting a guide who really knows the terrain on the first day can help you not only acquire some new skills, but do those extreme adventures safely. So I'm all for that.
And a guide can also help you work on your goals. So they can say, right now I see you have this ability. What are our goals for the week while you're here? What is something you want to work on, improve on? And it could be simple, like I want to ski a run with everyone in my family, to I want to have my adventure day.
So communicating early with the ski school about what your goals are for the week as they're picking the right person for you. And then with your guide, just being really open to adventure, but make sure that you go in with a clear idea of what success looks like for you.
And be honest, like if you're scared, I get scared all the time. Tell them and you'll work through it.
We've sort of talked about, either ends of the spectrum, as you were saying, on Sunshine. There's also amazing groomers. Your grooming team, because it's such huge terrain, it is amazing how much they can get to prepare for the skiers' morning. How many, what does the fleet look like there?
We have 12 piston bullies, but as a team, I apologize to any of my team members who may be listening, and I mean this with love and pride, is we're all nerds. So what makes our team so great is we are all nerdy and passionate about our areas of the business. And this goes for our groomers. They are cat nerds to the fullest extent, and they care about the corduroy. It does help that we don't make snow at Sunshine. We farm our snow, and the cat crew is very responsible for packing down that snow, spreading it out, making sure it stays soft throughout the season. And they kind of see themselves as a snow artist in a lot of ways. And so they are grooming our 3,000 plus acres. We have 3,354 acres of skiable terrain. And every day they do groom the easiest runs off of all of our chairs, as well as select other runs. So a personal favorite of many of our team members is a run called Fall Line off of Goat's Eye. And it is our steepest groomed run at Sunshine. It is kind of that World Cup downhill run, great pitch. You can get going very fast. And I believe at some points of it, the steepness is close to 48 degrees. Don't quote me on that, but it is quite a steep winch run. But what makes the grooming so great is how much our team cares about the work that they do.
It really shows in the product that they deliver. I do love a soft, shorter mogul field, but, those big, wide groomers are definitely my happy place. And I know I'm not alone. We've talked a lot about on snow, but off snow, as we alluded to at the beginning, is so important to spring skiing. Getting that outdoor lunch, having that beverage, maybe it's got alcohol in it, maybe it doesn't. But what do you tell us, some of the can't miss experiences when it comes to dining in après, maybe, for the grown-ups, and then if we were bringing the kids along?
Of course. So I think skiing, what I love most about skiing is you don't have to be good to enjoy skiing or snowboarding. And that goes for spring skiing. You don't need to be a hardcore skier to enjoy getting outside to the mountains and enjoying a day on the slopes. You just need to love being outside with people you love. And at Sunshine, come spring, we really live outside. We love the longer days. So we start our season with lift hours from 9 to 4. Come spring, we extend them to 4:30 so our guests can enjoy an extra half hour of skiing and snowboarding. And then we also kind of move our food, beverage activations outdoors. And this year we've launched a new club. So we have a day club at our Goat's Eye Lodge. We're calling it the Goat Club. And we've got a stage there. We're bringing in DJs every weekend to play a set. We've got a barbecue going. We've got beaver tails out in that area. We've got coffee. We've got bars that serve both alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. My go-to spring cocktail is actually a mocktail, and it is this clink mimosa. It is so good, and it is alcohol-free, but I've been loving going into the Go Club with it, dancing to the music. We had Brandy Cyrus up earlier, and she played incredible hits. We've also got Jake Shore this weekend, as well as Nightshade. We've got Daisy Duke coming up, Ski Tour. We basically have a DJ every weekend now until May 18th, and we're having ski boot dance parties at the Goat Club, which is pretty fun. There is a side that's 18 and up because legal age in Alberta is 18. If you are traveling with older children, it's kind of nice to be able to go out and have a glass of wine with the entire family. But if you have smaller children, there is an all ages side on the opposite of it that you can still dance and get your groove on too in between ski runs. And there's something just really hilarious about dancing in ski boots and ski clothes that I'm all about.
It's all about the upper body.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to move your legs.
And I would definitely encourage for visitors coming, definitely pack some fun outfits. You'll see kids skiing in those onesies like dinosaurs or unicorns. And this is not the place to bring your navy and your black clothing. If it's all you got, great. Try to jazz it up with some fun accessories. But
Put on some glitter.
absolutely bedazzle whatever you can do because it is a celebration of the seasons changing there for sure.
And then up in our village, we do have an après deck that's going in on our day lodge. We're calling it the Cocoa Lounge. And we'll have food, we'll have drinks available there. But then there's just that feeling of being outside. So whether you're at Trappers and you're sitting on the patio, our hotel, the coffee shop, come spring, the place to be is outside.
100%.
And as Canadians, we're like, oh my gosh, it's 32 degrees. It's short weather.
We talked a little bit about ages from 18 months, they can be in daycare. Great to go with adult kids if they're on a college break, or even if, some of the schools in the United States, those kids are getting out of school that first week of May. So great to take those college age kids up there as well. And I can't imagine an age group that's not a good fit for spring skiing in Banff.
No, I can't think of it. Plus, we've got this whole dollar issue where we're on a Canadian dollar that's heavily discounted next to the American dollar. So you're going to be saving considerable on lift tickets, accommodation, food. Our lift tickets are $178 Canadian. You do the math on the exchange, 30% off. It makes it a pretty affordable ski day in comparison to some other options as well.
And when we're talking about passes, I believe that there are some of the mega passes that you can
Yes.
use at Sunshine.
Yes, at Sunshine, we are part of the Icon Pass. So you can ski us with your Icon as well as the Mountain Collective Pass. And if you have a Mountain Collective, it's 2 free days at Sunshine plus unlimited 50% off. So it gets to be a pretty great deal.
We've talked a little bit about packing. We've talked a little bit about what to bring. Any other tips you want to give us for making the most of our Sunshine Village experience?
Check our event schedule because we do have some fun weekends. We also have in May, but we have our character themed weekends. So we have characters from the Frozen-esque franchise on Mountain. We'll have a Queen Elsa and Anna, Sven, Olaf skiing around, posing for pictures. And it's great with kids. You can also dress as your favorite character and help us raise money for local charities. So we do offer discounts for people who dress up in as a character, and then we donate those proceeds to whether it's the Alberta Children's Hospital or other local organizations. And then we do have a K-pop Demon Hunters weekend where we'll have the characters from K-pop Demon Hunters skiing around and a Spider-Man because I'm sure they'd be friends.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. I love all of that. And I know Slush Cup is a big deal. That's the last weekend of the year?
Yeah, Slush Cup is probably our marquee event, and it will be held on Slush Cup Monday, May 18th. It is one of those events that should be a bucket list item and add it to your itinerary. It is not for one age group. Anyone of any age can go and enjoy Slush Cup. We are the longest running pond skim in North America. We had our first pond skim in like 1928 as like two friends daring each other to ski across a pond of water or a puddle. I think it was a actual waterfall is what the history says. And they came down this we have this run behind the hotel, Sunshine Mountain Lodge, called Waterfall. And one friend told the other friend, I bet you can't ski down this waterfall. That friend said, here, hold my beer. Legend is made. And so it's kind of grown over the years from that one waterfall ski to Slush Cup, our big year-end party. And now we have 100 participants competing for the title of Mr. and Mrs. Slush Cup, where they'll win $1,000 plus bragging rights for life, plus a ski pass for next season. And last year and this year, we'll have a star-studded Olympian panel of judges. We encourage costumes and dressing up. This year, our theme is Western disco.
I like that. Western disco. You can really go a lot of directions with that. That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I need to think of a way to make it sound a bit more eloquent, though. Like Anna Wintour would have a much simpler term.
Just think of like Beyonce, and she would have like a hat that would have, it would be gorgeous, and then she'd have something that was bedazzled on her body, some sequins as well. So anything she would wear on tour for her cowboy, what was it called? Cowboy
Carter?
Jackson. Yeah, Cowboy Carter. That's Western disco.
And this year we do have our synchro swimmers in the pool again. So last year we invited them and they kicked it off the show. And this year they're working on a new routine for our Slush Cup, which is just hilarious.
I think people are going to be, grabbing their phones as soon as they're listening to this and trying to get those last great days of skiing in. Where do they go to plan a great vacation?
I recommend going to Air Canada or WestJet to check flights to Calgary. United, Delta also fly into the region as well if you're coming from the States, or KLM if you are coming from abroad. And then go to skibanff.com. You've got our event schedule, our pages there. Also check out skibig3.com for more info on the area or Banff Lake Louise tourism. And make sure you follow Sunshine on social. Find us on Instagram at Sunshine Village or on Facebook, Banff Sunshine Village, to see what we're up to and just how much snow we are continuing to get.
Thank you so much, Kendra, and good luck with the end of season. Can't wait to see what you're wearing on Instagram. I do want to give you one last plug for your Instagram, which I think you do a great job
Thanks,
with.
Nicole. You can find photos of me or find more about me at Kendra Sonia, Kendra, KendraSoni on Instagram. And I love my ski outfits. So I have a collection of wildly colorful ski suits, and I'm always posting fun on the mountain.
Thank you so much, Kendra.
Thank you, Nicole. It was a pleasure talking with you, and I hope to ski you soon.
Hey, ski moms, we hope you enjoyed today's episode and got some great tips for your next family ski adventure. If you had as much fun listening as we did making this episode, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest episodes. And don't forget to rate and review us. Your feedback helps us bring you more of the content you love and helps other ski moms find our podcast. Plus, we love hearing from you. So whether you're on the slopes or just dreaming of your next snowy getaway, stay connected with us. Follow us on social media, share your favorite episodes with your friends, and let's keep this awesome community growing.
Are you the last one down the mountain and proud of it? The Slow Skiers Club collection in the Ski Mom shop is made just for you. Whether you're soaking in the views, taking it at your own pace, or just keeping it real on the slopes, our cozy sweatshirts, mugs, and stickers celebrate skiing on your own terms. Because skiing isn't a race, it's a joy. Head to theskimoms.co and check out the Slow Skier collection in our shop. Ski slow, smile big.